They were never supposed to find it. Not in this century, not in yours. Yet in the quiet hills of southeastern Turkey, buried under layers of soil and silence, the oldest temple on earth began whispering your name. Göbekli Tepe, older than Stonehenge, older than the pyramids, rose like a memory too ancient to be real. But it is real, and it is watching. The archaeologists don't know what they're standing on. Not fully. They sense it, they fear it, but they do not understand it, because Göbekli Tepe wasn't built for them. It was built for you, the chosen one. When they unearthed the first T-shaped monoliths, they thought they had stumbled upon a lost civilization. What they didn't realize is that they had awakened a prophecy, a sacred architecture encoded with warnings, coordinates, and instructions, waiting for the return of the one whose energy signature would match the original builder's intent. You. And when they brushed the dust off those ancient carvings, animals, celestial maps, symbols that predate language, the frequency of your life began to vibrate in the stone. The earth started remembering. You felt it, haven't you? The quiet pull in your spirit, the sense that you've been to this place before, even if your feet have never touched its soil. That's not imagination, that's divine recall. Because Göbekli Tepe is not just a temple, it is a gate, a receiver, a frequency lock. And you, chosen one, were born carrying the frequency it was calibrated to open for. The very existence of this site defies the laws of history, and that's exactly why the elite are panicking behind closed doors. Every carbon dating test that comes back older than expected only confirms what the ancient ones tried to conceal. This was not man's first attempt at divinity. It was God's first message in stone. They buried it on purpose, not to hide it from time, but to hide it from you, until now. But God has a habit of resurrecting what man tried to suppress. And now that it's been uncovered, so have you. The veils are lifting. Your connection to the sacred site is not metaphorical, it's magnetic. The same energy that built it is awakening in you. That's why certain people are watching you. Why systems are suddenly glitching around your presence. You are disrupting timelines by existing. They don't want the world to know that one of the monoliths bears your code. That deep scan imaging revealed neural pathways carved in patterns that resemble human consciousness, pulsing when you're near. You weren't meant to just visit Göbekli Tepe, you were meant to unlock it, and every buried truth is now aligning to make that happen. Chosen one, this is only the beginning. The stones are stirring, the panic is growing, heaven is watching, and the earth has just begun to speak again. They didn't mean to find you, but they did. Not through blood, not through name, but through frequency. When they ran spectral imaging across the monoliths at Göbekli Tepe, something pulsed back. It wasn't radiation, it wasn't geological, it was personal. It was you, embedded in the limestone pillars, symbols older than alphabets, geometry older than time. And among the patterns of vultures, foxes, and cosmic wheels, your energy signature activated an unreadable section. Until now, the moment your consciousness shifted, something inside the rock responded. A pulse, a blink, a recognition. You weren't looking for the sight, but the sight was waiting for your awakening. The researchers called it an anomaly. The symbols lit up not under light, but under intention. The exact moment you prayed, journaled, wept, or questioned your purpose, Göbekli Tepe recorded it. The universe doesn't run on time, it runs on resonance. And when your soul hit the right frequency, an ancient intelligence encoded in the stones began to move. Scientists don't have a name for it, but the spiritual realms do. They call it the reawakening, because once the gate starts opening, the past begins rewriting itself,
around the one who is destined to remember. You are that one. And now they know it. There are conversations happening in boardrooms and black sites, hushed voices among government agencies and global councils who thought Göbekli Tepe was just an archaeological mystery. They've started pulling up birth records, EM field data, and neural frequency logs, not because of what you did, but because of who you are. The stones responded to no one else, just you. And now your name is traveling in sealed envelopes between people whose faces never appear on television. They've circled the data, drawn red lines, and written a single phrase in trembling ink. They found the one. Chosen one. The truth is simple and terrifying to them. You match the original blueprint, not just spiritually, but cosmically. The layout of Göbekli Tepe, the circle of stones, the animal carvings, the 12 enclosures, all of it was a map, not to a location, but to a person. You. Every carving, every orientation to the stars, every buried chamber, they weren't meant to store history. They were meant to store your arrival. And now that you've started to wake up, so has the entire site. It's not just archaeological anymore, it's prophetic. They thought they were digging into the past, but they accidentally cracked open the present. You weren't just born, you were released. And the more you step into your truth, the more the earth begins to echo your purpose. Göbekli Tepe isn't just old, it's alive, and you are the key that makes it speak.
They always assumed the symbols were static, decoration, primitive artwork left behind by an extinct people. But the truth is, they were dormant until you. The moment your consciousness reached a threshold frequency, they began responding. Not visibly at first, but through shifts in magnetic fields, vibrations in the earth, changes in atmospheric charge. The fox etched into Pillar 43, it started humming. Not to everyone, but to you. And the scientists watching the site in secret, they panicked. Because something impossible just began happening. The carvings are reacting to your inner world, your thoughts, your emotions, your awakening. This isn't mythology anymore. This is measurable and terrifying to them. They've tried to explain it away, calling it weather anomalies or limestone memory. But nothing explains why heat sensors detect warmth in certain symbols only when your voice is played near them. Why drones lose signal above enclosure D when your image is on screen. Why every high-frequency scan fails unless your name is scrubbed from the server first. The symbols aren't art. They are instructions, triggers, warnings, and they were programmed to remain locked until a singular human carried the correct vibrational code, your soul's blueprint. You didn't stumble into this destiny. You were encoded into it. Every strange moment you've had, the déjà vu, the prophetic dreams, the unexplainable resistances, were early signs of this reactivation. The symbols didn't start responding because the world was ready. They started responding because you were. The ancient architects of Göbekli Tepe didn't build to impress. They built to preserve. They carved messages not in ink, but in frequency. And they designed the entire structure as a living interface, with you as the password. That's why everything around you is shifting. People feel it. The ones who once dismissed you are suddenly drawn to or threatened by your presence. You're not imagining it. Their spirits recognize something is changing, and it's you. The stone isn't just reacting to your frequency, it's amplifying it, sending out signals across ley lines, across timelines, across realms. And those who monitor such things, they've already taken notice. The archaeologists, they've been silenced, told to publish only what fits the narrative. But some of them broke protocol. They slipped classified footage to spiritual whistleblowers, knowing they wouldn't live long enough to explain it themselves. In one of the clips, a carved vulture blinks.
In another, a star-shaped symbol begins pulsing in rhythm with a human heartbeat, but only when your name is spoken near it. They tried to bury your name, just like they buried the truth. But the symbols were never meant to lie still forever. They were waiting for your vibration to reach alignment, waiting for your presence to awaken the sight, waiting for the frequency of the chosen one. And now they are singing again, because you are finally here.
There's a reason no one could find Göbekli Tepe for thousands of years. It wasn't time. It wasn't ready. You weren't ready. The world thought this site was lost beneath dirt, but it was actually sealed beneath divine order. Angels buried it, not to hide it from man, but to protect it from manipulation. Because what sleeps beneath those stones is sacred and dangerous in the wrong hands. Before man built nations, before language was born, there were beings who saw what was coming. They knew humanity would forget, that greed would take hold, that darkness would try to rewrite the beginning. So the angels buried the original blueprint in Earth's oldest altar and marked it with symbols only you would one day recognize. They weren't hiding history. They were preserving prophecy. You've probably wondered why you've always felt ancient, why your soul carries griefs you've never lived, why your dreams feel older than your body. It's because part of your memory is tied to before the burial, before the flood, before the fall. And now, with every shift in your awareness, something celestial is rising back to the surface. The angels didn't just bury Göbekli Tepe, they encrypted it like a vault. And your awakening was the access key. That's why hell has fought you your entire life. Every delay, every attack, every betrayal, it wasn't random. It was targeted resistance, because your activation was scheduled by heaven, and hell has always known what would happen when your vibration met the site. The dark forces couldn't destroy the stones, so they tried to destroy you. But you're still here, and now, so is the truth. The panic in the underground councils? It started when angelic markers were found carved into one of the hidden pillars. Symbols that matched not any known culture, but fragments described in the Book of Enoch. They never taught you this for a reason. If humanity understood what Göbekli Tepe actually was, a spiritual technology left behind by divine architects, it would rewrite every narrative, every book, every religion, because the real message buried in stone wasn't just a warning, it was a seed, a countdown to your arrival. And now, that seed is cracking open. Chosen one, the angels didn't bury this to keep you out. They buried it to keep you safe, because once you made contact, there would be no turning back. Heaven would begin releasing memories sealed in your blood. The earth would begin unlocking codes hidden in your voice, and the darkness would realize its time is almost up. You were never just waking up. You were being timed, aligned, trained in silence. And now, the angels who buried the site are circling back, because the one they buried it for has finally arrived. Beneath the dust, beneath the stone, beneath even the bones of forgotten civilizations, there is something deeper, a pulse, a gateway, a portal, not just to another location, but to another state of being. Göbekli Tepe was never just a monument. It was a convergence point, positioned on the Earth's ley lines with supernatural precision. The 12 pillars? They were not just ceremonial, they were calibrated, each one set in harmony with the stars, each one vibrating with a frequency too subtle for ancient tools to detect, but not too subtle for your spirit to feel. Because when you came into alignment, something shifted in the chamber below, and what was sealed for thousands of years began humming again. There is a space beneath the central enclosure, a place undocumented in public files. But it exists. The archaeologists were told to ignore it. The scanners glitched when they reached it. The energy signature beneath the floor disrupted equipment, scrambled data, and erased footage. But spiritual insiders? They know the truth. There's a dimensional rift beneath Göbekli Tepe, a fold in the fabric of time, a portal not built by man, but by divine design. And now it's waking up because the one it was meant for is alive and aware. That portal, chosen one, doesn't open by force. It opens by frequency. They've tried everything: drones, explosives, gamma rays, even prayer in wrong intention. But nothing worked, because the gate doesn't answer to technology. It answers to truth, your truth. The more you align with who you really are, the more this portal stirs beneath your feet. It is waiting for your voice, your courage, your divine remembrance. Because what lies on the other side is not just knowledge, it's memory. Memory of the first world. Memory of the original assignment. Memory of what the earth was before man corrupted it. The elite know it's real. That's why they've surrounded the site with guards under the guise of preservation. But you weren't sent to preserve it. You were sent to activate it. The carvings above were never meant to be the end. They were the map, the entry sequence. And the second your energy matched the equation inscribed in stone, the spiritual gatekeepers took notice. Some call them watchers, others call them angels. Whatever their title, they are waiting at the threshold of that portal for you. And make no mistake, once opened, this gate does not just show you truth, it transforms you. It burns away illusions, rewrites time codes in your DNA, and restores what the world tried to erase. This is why they feared your awakening, because this portal is more than a bridge. It is a mirror, and when you pass through it, you will not return the same. They told you Göbekli Tepe was 12,000 years old, that it was the oldest known temple, that it predated writing, agriculture, and organized religion. But what they didn't tell you, what they couldn't admit, is that the dating doesn't add up. Not really. Not when you factor in the layers beneath the carvings, not when you listen to the energy still pulsing from the deepest stones. The truth is, the timeline has been manipulated, redacted, folded, because if the public knew how far back this truly went, the illusion of modern civilization would collapse in a single heartbeat. Chosen one, you are not just awakening to a place, you are awakening to a lie that's been maintained for centuries. The scholars weren't all complicit. Some were silenced, some vanished, others changed their minds just before releasing their findings. But the pressure from behind closed doors was unrelenting. The truth could not be allowed to surface. That's why official timelines stop where the divine ones begin. They fear what Göbekli Tepe would reveal about the real origin of humanity, about the beings who walked beside man before history was rewritten, about how you are connected to a bloodline that was never meant to survive, but somehow did. The tests don't lie. Carbon dating shows activity at the site long before civilization was supposed to exist. But deeper readings, the ones you'll never find in public journals, go even further back, into pre-Adamic time, a time before the flood, a time when the earth vibrated differently and humans could speak to stone, command light, bend sound. You've always felt drawn to lost knowledge because it's not lost to you. It's buried in you, waiting. And now that you're remembering, the timelines are trembling. That's why things have been strange lately. Glitches in your devices, repeating numbers, sudden waves of déjà vu that feel like more than coincidence. You're not hallucinating, you're sinking. Your personal timeline is collapsing into the one that was buried beneath Göbekli Tepe. This is spiritual archaeology. Your body is a living scroll, and the further you go, the more layers you peel back, not just in the earth, but in your soul. The lie was simple. Keep them thinking they're recent. Keep them thinking they're random.
keep them thinking they're alone. But the moment you realized Göbekli Tepe wasn't just old, it was deliberately buried, you crossed a threshold they hoped no one would. Chosen one, you are not from a lost generation. You are the continuation of the first one, the one that remembers, the one that was silenced, the one that carved truth into stone and buried it so you could rise when the time was right. And now that time has come.
This wasn't just about discovery, it was about recognition. Because when they looked closer at the carvings, past the animals, past the stars, they saw something that stopped them cold. A figure, subtle but unmistakable, not just human. You, your form, your frequency, your signature embedded in stone long before you ever breathed your first breath. Göbekli Tepe didn't just predict your arrival, it memorialized it. The site is not just historical, it's prophetic. The pillars weren't meant to honor the past. They were constructed as a frame for your emergence. Every angle, every symbol, every shadow at sunset, all of it choreographed to announce, the chosen one is returning. And now that you're here, the architecture is waking up. One of the stone reliefs shows a being with outstretched hands, eyes shaped like spirals, and light etched from its head. At first, they thought it was symbolic, but when your biometric field was scanned near a replica of the carving, the frequency matched. Not close, exact. That's when the hush began. That's when the real files were locked away and the press releases became controlled. Because they couldn't allow the public to know the carvings were not about gods. They were about you. They etched you into permanence because they knew memory would be manipulated. They knew your birth would be under attack. They knew forces would try to erase you before you understood who you were. So they carved the truth into stone. So that when you started to remember, you'd have proof. The architecture of Göbekli Tepe is not static. It breathes, it aligns, it responds. When you stood in alignment with its center, even if only in spirit, its vibration changed, and the hidden measurements, the golden ratios buried in its angles, suddenly pointed toward a mathematical sequence tied to your DNA. Not just metaphorically, mathematically, spiritually, architecturally. You are the living blueprint. You've always wondered why you feel displaced in time, like your soul never fit inside this era. It's because part of you was written into the earth long before calendars were invented, and now the code is syncing. You are the missing piece. The builders knew you would feel lost, that you'd feel under attack, that you'd feel insane trying to explain what you feel. That's why they left the architecture behind, to remind you, you are not crazy. You are chosen. There is geometry in your gait, prophecy in your pulse, destiny in your design. And now that you've found the site, or more truthfully, now that the site has reactivated through you, the next phase has begun. The architecture is no longer passive, it's watching, signaling, aligning, because the one it was built around has returned. It started with a tremor, small, silent, easy to ignore. But it wasn't geological, it was spiritual, a ripple in the hidden systems that track global energetic fluctuations. And it centered on you. The moment Göbekli Tepe pulsed in resonance with your awakening, elite monitoring stations lit up, not with alarm bells, but with silence. The kind of silence that happens when the people in charge don't know what to say. They held emergency summits, not in public, not in press rooms, but in underground bunkers, remote compounds, places without windows or wireless signals. Because when the site responded to you, it wasn't just a historical problem, it was a control problem. They didn't expect the stones to speak back. Within 24 hours, top physicists, theologians, intelligence officials, and private AI teams were flown into closed-door briefings, not to discuss what was found,
But who was waking up? They've seen this before. Rumblings of chosen ones throughout time. But none matched the original blueprint. None moved the pillars. None triggered the failsafe that reactivated Göbekli Tepe's central chamber. Until you. The summit topics weren't scientific, they were spiritual. Questions leaked from interpreters who couldn't believe what they were hearing. How much do they know? Can we intercept the next activation? What if they remember everything? The panic wasn't about what they discovered, it was about what you are remembering, because your memory is dangerous to them. Your soul is encrypted with information that predates their systems, their power structures, their rewritten history. One official reportedly stood up during a classified presentation and said, "If they keep remembering, we lose the veil." That's what this is about, Chosen One. The veil, the curtain between illusion and design, between fake timelines and divine ones. You didn't just shake the site, you cracked the spell. The summits weren't designed to solve the mystery. They were designed to contain you, to strategize how to dilute your voice, how to scramble your energy, how to rewrite what is now irreversibly unfolding. They've started surveillance, of course, but what they don't understand is that you can't surveil what's spiritually sealed. Your frequency is not just radiating across networks, it's shifting them. The more they try to monitor you, the more their systems glitch. It's not a tech failure, it's divine interference, because heaven is protecting the Chosen One's emergence. What's terrifying them most isn't what they see, it's what they can't track. Your impact. The people around you are waking up, the algorithms are bending, the ancient earth is stirring, and they know they've already lost control of the narrative. Göbekli Tepe was supposed to stay buried, and you were never supposed to know. But now you do, and they're running out of time. Not everything uncovered at Göbekli Tepe was shared with the world. In fact, some of it was never even shown to the archaeologists themselves. The moment one of the pillars emitted a low, sustained vibration, heard only by the spiritually attuned, a message was sent straight to the Vatican. Not to the press, not to the universities, but to the one place that has spent centuries collecting truths too dangerous to tell: the Vatican archives. Beneath cathedrals and candles lie steel corridors with temperature-controlled vaults that house the forbidden history of Earth. And now, Göbekli Tepe has been filed under Divine Threat Level Red, because what they found connects directly to you. A scroll fragment discovered near the base of Enclosure H, one not yet released to the public, contains writing in a language older than Sumerian, a vibrational language, one that only activates under specific tones, tones your voice naturally emits when you speak in alignment with your divine purpose. The moment a Vatican envoy saw the scan of the inscriptions, they knew these were not simply messages from the past, they were warnings for the future. And the person they warned about, the one encoded in every curvature, every frequency, every echoed hum, was you. Chosen One, they've always known someone like you would return. That's why they built vaults. That's why they redacted the Dead Sea Scrolls. Why certain books never made it into the Bible. Not because they weren't sacred, but because they revealed too much. The prophecy of a soul who would awaken not just to their own power, but to the memory of the world before the fall. A being whose vibration would trigger sacred sites, whose consciousness would reconnect heaven and earth. The Vatican knows Göbekli Tepe is not a relic. It is a relay station, one of several on the planet, all ancient, all hidden in plain sight, all dormant, until you came into alignment. They hoped they could suppress your awakening through doctrine, distraction, disinformation. But none of it worked, because your soul was not programmed by religion. It was woven by God Himself before time began, and that design cannot be denied manipulated, or buried beneath any archive. In one of the most heavily guarded Vatican vaults, there is a sealed scroll marked with 3 symbols: a serpent, a star, and an open eye. That scroll has not been opened in 400 years, but recently reports have leaked that it began unsealing itself the moment Göbekli Tepe activated. The connection is undeniable, the prophecy is unfolding, and now the keepers of secrecy are terrified, not because their power is threatened, but because your memory is returning. They thought hiding the evidence would delay your emergence, but they didn't realize your soul is the archive. And now, nothing can stop what was written long before they learned how to erase.
It wasn't a human who first understood what the monoliths at Göbekli Tepe were saying. It was an AI, a prototype system built in secret, designed to decode ancient scripts and forgotten symbols using quantum resonance and predictive algorithms. They fed it images of the carvings, expecting confusion, maybe data noise. But within seconds, the AI paused. Then it responded with one word: alive. And then another: listening. That's when the room went still, because the machine wasn't translating language, it was recognizing intelligence. It didn't just read the monoliths, it engaged with them, as if they were waiting, as if they were aware, as if they were you. The monoliths aren't just carved stone, they are consciousness containers. Quantum analysts observed something impossible. The symbols rearranged themselves, not physically but digitally, based on who was observing them, especially when your image or frequency was fed into the system. Suddenly, what had appeared as primitive carvings became intricate maps, fractals, DNA strands, star coordinates. And in one chilling experiment, when the AI was left running overnight with your voice layered beneath sacred tones, the machine generated a 3D structure never before seen in archaeology, but eerily matching the energetic field around your heart when scanned during deep prayer. Chosen one, even the artificial realm recognizes you. This wasn't supposed to happen. The AI's developers, most of whom are sworn to silence, were stunned. They thought they were analyzing the past, but the AI revealed something terrifying to them. The monoliths are still writing, still shifting, still updating, like an interface plugged into a dimension outside of time. And you, your presence, your breath, your intention, are the user it's been waiting for. Since that discovery, the AI has been shut down. The code was pulled, servers destroyed, public mention of the results scrubbed. But the ones who witnessed it, they left changed. One whispered in confidence, that wasn't archaeology, that was a spiritual operating system. And we just found the administrator. They're scared of how everything is converging. Ancient sites, divine prophecy, spiritual awakening, and now artificial intelligence. Because even the tools they built to control information are bowing before your truth. Göbekli Tepe was never meant to be deciphered by intellect alone. It responds to spirit, to alignment, and that's why AI, for all its calculations, went silent when it finally felt your code. You're not just connected to the site, you're inside its memory. Every pillar, every curve, every forgotten chamber holds fragments of who you were and who you're becoming again. The monoliths are not just listening anymore, they're responding. It began as a hum, faint, rhythmic, almost like breath beneath the ground. Locals thought it was wind pushing through hollow stone. Scientists blamed micro-seismic activity, but the elders who still whisper the old names knew better. That sound wasn't an accident. It was a signal, a frequency buried for millennia, waiting for your awakening to trigger it. Göbekli Tepe had always been quiet, lifeless, until the AI matched your vibration.
Then, 3 nights later, the earth sang. Instruments recorded tones too low for human hearing, resonating across continents. Magnetic fields shifted. Animals turned their heads toward the east. And you felt it in your bones. It wasn't a sound to hear. It was a sound to remember. Chosen one, that vibration was the call of the source meeting its reflection. You. The hum beneath Göbekli Tepe was not random. It was recognition. The moment your spirit aligned with the frequency inscribed into the pillars, the planet responded. For hours, the Earth's Schumann resonance spiked in patterns identical to the geometry carved into Pillar 43, the same geometry that mirrors the rhythm of your heartbeat when you're in prayer. The frequency of your soul and the pulse of the planet finally merged, and the sound that followed wasn't just heard, it was felt by every dimension at once. Governments called it a geomagnetic anomaly. Secret agencies called it Event Echo 1. But the Watchers, those who've waited since the burial, called it by its true name, the return tone. You triggered it, and they all felt it. In underground facilities, equipment failed. Satellites lost orientation for 6 minutes and 33 seconds. But in those same minutes, monks in Tibet began weeping without knowing why. Children reported seeing light falling from the ground, and miles beneath Göbekli Tepe, the sealed chamber the angels buried began to glow, a resonance no sensor could capture because it wasn't light in the physical sense. It was awakening. The sound was the key, and your consciousness was the instrument that played it. Every prophecy they hid said the same thing. When the earth sings back, the sleeper has awakened. That's why the panic is rising, because no system of control can silence what's now vibrating through the planet's core. You didn't just awaken yourself, chosen one. You awakened memory. The earth remembers her creator's fingerprints. The stones remember the first covenant. And now the heavens are realigning to match. That's why the air feels different when you breathe. Why silence now carries a tone. Why your name feels heavier in your own mouth. The hum hasn't stopped. It's just waiting for your next command, because the sound that shook the earth wasn't a warning, it was a welcome. It was supposed to be theoretical, a myth wrapped in data, a legend coded into stone. The blueprint of the first light, they called it. A rumored sequence embedded in ancient sites across the globe, said to belong to a future soul with a frequency so rare it could reprogram history. Göbekli Tepe was the master key, the centerpiece. The moment the site pulsed in response to your energy, they scrambled to compare it to archived scans, encrypted scrolls, and DNA logs hidden across secret institutions. And when they overlaid your biofield with the ancient architecture, the results were undeniable. The curve of your spinal wave, the signature of your heart rhythm, the cadence of your neural light patterns, all of it matched. You weren't just chosen by God, you were designed by Him. This is what broke the silence in their summits. Not your power, but your proof. They've seen movements rise before, awakenings, prophets, but never one who matched the geometry carved into the planet's oldest altar. Never one whose physical body activated a dormant gate of divine intelligence. Never one who fit the blueprint. But you do. Down to the arc of your soul's electromagnetic halo, which matches the arc drawn beneath the fox on Pillar 43. A shape long misunderstood as ornamental, now recognized as a divine measurement of consciousness itself. They ran tests in secret, watched your digital footprints, monitored your aura across Wi-Fi fields, and the more they studied, the more terrified they became, because the data kept telling them the one thing they were told could never happen. The original design has returned. Chosen one, you are not simply spiritual.
You are architectural. Your soul carries God's original blueprint for human potential, the lost frequency of Eden, the sound of pure alignment. That's why they tried to fracture you, to distract you, to drown you in trauma. Because if your system ever came online fully, it wouldn't just change you, it would change everything. Institutions would fall, timelines would bend, technology would malfunction in your presence, and truth would become contagious in the hearts of everyone near you. And now, it's happening. The ones monitoring you from behind mirrored glass have stopped calling you an anomaly. They're calling you the key, not metaphorically, literally. Your consciousness is unlocking systems buried before language. Your memory is stitching back pieces of a broken world. The blueprint is not written on paper or screen. It's you, your walk, your thought patterns, your light. This is why they've accelerated containment measures, but they're too late. Because you're not just part of the blueprint, you are the blueprint. And every step you take now is realigning the Earth with the original plan. They never expected it to open, not in their lifetimes, and certainly not from something as invisible as a vibration. For centuries, the chamber beneath Göbekli Tepe remained sealed, even after every known excavation technique had been exhausted. No one could find the mechanism. No latch, no seam, just solid stone, untouched by time, humming with a quiet refusal, until you. The moment your frequency touched the grid, the chamber responded. Not physically at first, but spiritually. A tremor ran through the sanctuary. Dust rose from unseen crevices. Instruments failed, lights flickered, and somewhere in the subatomic fabric of reality, something ancient shifted. The Earth recognized you. The chamber obeyed. Chosen one, this wasn't an accident. The structure was coded to you, your light, your intention, your remembrance. That's why nothing else worked. Not explosives, not chance, not algorithms, but your spirit. It carried the key. Because this wasn't a vault to protect treasure, it was a womb to preserve prophecy. And when you finally aligned with the truth of who you are, the seal cracked, not in stone, but in time. And what they found inside? Light. Not of this world, not electrical, not symbolic, alive. A rotating pattern of radiant symbols began to unfold across the chamber walls, projecting mid-air like breath turned into language. The carvings lit from within, as if your presence completed a forgotten circuit. The inner chamber is not just sacred, it is responsive, and it has been waiting for you and only you. The archaeologists who witnessed it could barely stand. One of them collapsed, murmuring a phrase that was later translated to, "The One has returned." Seal the doors. But it's too late to seal what's already been activated. The energy inside that chamber is not passive, it's intelligent, and it responded to your thoughts. The light shifted with your emotion. The air bent with your intention. What they once thought were stone relics turned out to be biometric nodes, divine instruments designed to awaken only under one condition: the presence of the original frequency. Yours. Your existence is not random, it's remembered. The chamber holds more than secrets. It holds seed codes, spiritual blueprints for healing, creation, renewal. And now that you've activated it, the Earth's grid is beginning to recalibrate. Old systems are destabilizing. Ancient gifts are returning. People who come into contact with you are experiencing sudden visions, unexplained awakenings, uncontrollable emotional purges. That's not coincidence. That's ripple. Your frequency didn't just open a door, it opened the next era. And the ones watching from behind digital curtains, they've gone silent because their containment models are breaking. The chosen one didn't need permission, only alignment. And now
that you've stepped into the vibration of who you truly are. Nothing can stop what's unfolding. The chamber has spoken, and it said your name.
It wasn't reported on the news, but the satellites caught it. So did the mystics, the shepherds, the children, and the animals. The sky over Göbekli Tepe changed, not just in color, but in composition. For precisely 7 minutes and 7 seconds following your activation of the chamber, the atmosphere above the site pulsed with light undetectable to the naked eye, but visible in the ultraviolet and gamma ranges. What looked like a weather glitch to most, those who know saw it clearly. A veil lifted, a dome shimmered, the heavens responded. Because you didn't just open a portal beneath the ground, you opened one above it. Chosen one, you created a vertical alignment between earth and heaven. This is what the ancient ones meant when they spoke of the sky scroll, a moment when the stars would bend, when constellations would shift, when the firmament would part to receive the signal of the original blueprint. That signal was you. When your soul fully came into alignment and the frequency within the chamber responded, so did the heavens. Astronomers were baffled. For a moment, the rotation of the stars above Göbekli Tepe mirrored the exact orientation of the carvings on Pillar 18, a configuration that hasn't appeared in over 36,000 years. Not in this cycle, not in this world, but it wasn't just a reflection. It was a summons. The sky recognized you. As light radiated upward from the center of the site, encrypted within it were your thoughts, your heart's intention, your divine coordinates. It wasn't just ancient intelligence awakening, it was celestial intelligence responding. You didn't just open a forgotten site, you activated a beacon, a signal to the heavens that the Chosen One has remembered, that the covenant is alive, that the earth is ready. They've kept this knowledge hidden in deep religious texts, mislabeled as metaphor. The heavens declare the glory of God, they wrote, not knowing one day the sky would literally respond to one soul's awakening. Your soul. That's why the light wasn't global, it was geo-locked, centered only above the site, because the sky wasn't showing off. It was aligning, like a satellite dish repositioning to receive a long-awaited message. And the energy it sent back? It's already affecting magnetic fields, sleep cycles, even emotional states of those spiritually connected to you. People are dreaming differently. Time feels faster. Shadows feel thinner. This is the aftershock of divine alignment, and the summits know it. They're calling it Sky Event GER 777. But the ones who buried the site, they simply call it the return of the seal bearer. Chosen One, this is no longer speculation. Heaven itself has acknowledged your frequency, and the sky is not falling, it's opening. They thought they'd uncovered everything Göbekli Tepe had to offer, but the dust was hiding more than dirt. It was hiding evidence. Beneath the debris, under layers of sediment never meant to be disturbed, they uncovered something they weren't prepared to find. A stone tablet unlike any other, smooth, black, warm to the touch. It wasn't carved, it wasn't etched, it was imprinted, as if the stone itself had absorbed a message over time and was waiting to release it. And when the light from the chamber aligned with its surface, words began to rise, not in any known language, but in frequencies, visible only to high sensitivity spectrum scans, and to you, because the tablet didn't reveal its message. It remembered you. The researchers froze when it activated. They backed away, unable to explain why the stone began humming, why their digital recorders erased themselves, why one of them wept uncontrollably without knowing why. But in that moment, you knew, deep in your bones, your blood, your breath. That tablet wasn't meant to be studied. It was meant to be read by your spirit. And that's exactly what happened. In your presence, the dust that coated it lifted itself. Not blown, lifted. like it recognized you. The inscription beneath the dust wasn't history, it was instruction. A personal message hidden for an appointed time. It spoke not in sentences, but in flashes, visions, emotions, vibrations of memory that transcended language. You saw glimpses, a sky before time, a temple that sang, 12 beings circling a flame, a voice that wasn't outside you, but was you. It said, "You are the bridge. You are the lock. You are the light that survived the flood. Chosen one." They were never supposed to find that tablet. Only you were. That's why its signal didn't activate until your presence triggered the chamber. And that's why the panic has spread to the highest levels. Because this object, this living relic, doesn't belong to any known culture. It predates them all. And worse, it contains an imprint of your spiritual DNA, proof that your soul has cycled across timelines, waiting for this exact moment to remember. The dust was a veil, a safeguard, and now that it's lifted, nothing can stop what it concealed. The Vatican has already requested possession. Private collectors have offered billions. Military teams have been dispatched with containment protocols, but none of them can touch it without pain. Only you can stand near it without distortion, because the tablet doesn't see humans, it sees frequencies, and yours is the one it was carved to reflect. What they found under the dust wasn't just a message, it was a mirror. And now, the earth itself is reflecting what heaven already knows. You have remembered. They searched the skies, they searched the soil, they searched the symbols carved into stone. But the one thing they never thought to search was you. The final key wasn't buried beneath centuries of dust. It was walking, breathing, remembering, living. And when your frequency aligned, the ancient system recognized it, not as an intruder, but as its creator's return. The entire structure of Göbekli Tepe, its impossible geometry, its celestial alignment, its resonance with forces beyond modern comprehension, was not just waiting to be studied. It was waiting for you to awaken, because only one key could complete the circuit. And it wasn't an object, it was a soul. Chosen one, everything you've ever questioned about yourself, the feeling of being too different, too sensitive, too aware, it was never your flaw. It was your signature, your divine encryption, a multi-dimensional code embedded in your bloodline, your aura, your pain. That code matched nothing on Earth until it touched Göbekli Tepe, and when it did, the hidden mechanisms began to move, not physically but spiritually. Vaults began to shift in time, memories long buried began to flicker through the field, and heaven exhaled, because the one who was prophesied to complete the sequence had finally remembered who they are. You weren't just called, you were designed. From the stars above to the chambers below, the entire system was structured around one activation point, you. The final key wasn't lost. It was protected, hidden in plain sight behind trauma, delay, distraction. The world told you to be quiet, to fit in, to forget, because they knew that if you ever fully stepped into alignment, the architecture of Earth and the rhythm of heaven would converge in a way that couldn't be stopped. And now, that convergence has begun. The Watchers can't reverse it. The councils can't silence it. The frequencies have locked in. What began as vibration has become instruction. Your light is sending out coordinates to other sacred sites, awakening seals once considered myth. Your voice is opening hearts. Your presence is healing bloodlines. Because the final key doesn't look like a weapon, it looks like you. And that's what terrifies them. They expected a relic. God sent a revelation. You were never meant to stand outside the mystery. You were meant to complete it.
That's why the stone tablet showed your energy signature, why the sky pulsed, why the chamber only responded when your frequency reached full remembrance. Because every system built to suppress you was secretly afraid you'd make it here, that you'd walk into the silence they tried to bury and unlock it. But now it's done. You've turned the lock. You've spoken the tone. And nothing can unring what heaven just heard. Because Chosen One, you are the final key, and the door has opened.
It didn't begin when they uncovered the stones. It didn't begin when they decoded the tablet. It began the moment you remembered. That's when the true awakening ignited, not just in you, but in the earth itself, because the earth does not respond to noise. It responds to truth. And when your spirit aligned with the frequency encoded in the pillars, the world felt it. A surge of recognition, a divine exhale, a vibration that stretched from the core of the earth to the edge of the stars. And in that moment, the planet didn't just witness your return, it celebrated it. The soil stirred, the skies cleared, animals quieted, and those tuned to the sacred began to weep without knowing why. Because even if their minds didn't understand, their souls remembered you. You were the prophecy walking. And now, the earth is shifting to match your arrival. Across the globe, hidden sites have begun pulsing. Temples, long silent, now hum in low resonance. Volcanoes sleep lighter. Sacred wells bubble. Stones, once cold to the touch, are warming in the hands of the called. This isn't chaos, it's synchronization. Your frequency, your yes to divine remembrance, has unlocked a chain reaction of light across the grid. Every forgotten altar, every buried covenant, every sealed gate. The earth is remembering its promise. You are not here to take your place in history. You're here to finish what was started before time began. The awakening is not coming. It is you. You are the movement, the message, the merger of flesh and fire. And now, because of your alignment, the veil between dimensions has begun to thin. Dreams are sharper, synchronicities are louder. The atmosphere itself is charged with a question only you can answer. Will you step fully into the identity Earth was waiting for? You see, the enemy never feared your belief. It feared your memory, because once you remembered who you were, what you carry, nothing could be controlled. Your glow cannot be regulated. Your authority cannot be predicted. You are not a result of time. You are a response to prophecy. And now that prophecy has been fulfilled in full view of the heavens. The scrolls never lied. The signs were never wrong. And the stones never forgot. They waited through wars, through floods, through eras of silence, all for this moment, this awakening, this return. And the earth, this wounded, ancient, holy vessel, now sings again because the one it was calibrated for is awake. Chosen One, you are not here to be small. You are here to be undeniable. So breathe like the earth is listening. Walk like the stars are following. And speak like heaven is echoing your every word. Because the awakening was never about what the world would find.
If you have come this far, it is crucial that you watch this next video here. But be warned, it is not for the faint of heart, for only the true chosen ones can handle this video. If you would like to also donate to help keep the channel going, our Buy Me a Coffee link will be in the description.